Nah, you look tantalizing. You know, I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Because COVID also taught Sunny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered.
3 years, that's when I discovered Instacart. And I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well. And it's so that's been an issue, I think, for the company. But man, you can get toiletries, you can get fire logs.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insane.
The term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. So I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words migrate.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives.
Ever wondered what it feels like to be verbally cornered on national TV while your smile never wavers? Just ask Sunny Hostin. Greg Gutfeld and Bill Maher joined forces in a clash so intense that even her co-hosts shifted in their seats. Gutfeld unleashed rapid-fire sarcasm, while Maher delivered his trademark blunt logic with a knowing grin. And Sunny? She blinked as if the signal cut out mid-sentence. So what triggered the fireworks? Let's just say it unfolded in spectacular fashion.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there.
She's not very bright. So, but the problem with her is that she...
If I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas, that straightened me up pretty quick.
You can see the way Sunny Hostin, the way she's touching her above her eye, and she can't even look at him because she's an activist, not a journalist or whatever it is that...
Picture waking up every morning determined to project polished confidence mixed with social media moral certainty. That's the persona Sunny often brings. She steps in with opinions wrapped in authority, expecting agreement before the debate even begins. It's not just commentary. It's a full display of conviction, presented as if thoroughly researched moments before airtime.
About The View. It's like, it's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like, it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like, it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy.
Then enter Greg Gutfeld and Bill Maher, two commentators from very different corners of the political arena who somehow found common ground in challenging Sunny's reasoning. One, a Fox News personality known for sharp humor. The other, an HBO veteran powered by skepticism and wit. Sometimes the strongest alliances form when two people sense the same flaw in an argument.
Speak the truth, and when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie, now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least...
Sunny turns every discussion into a performance, delivering points like excerpts from an academic thesis, layered with passionate delivery. She doesn't so much debate as declare, speaking with the certainty of someone fully convinced of her stance. Ask her about inflation, and you might hear a personal anecdote woven into a broader commentary on inequality. Her storytelling often blurs the line between experience and evidence.
That's bad. The View's co-host, Sunny Hostin, says, "Hold my beer," and is literally claiming Republican women can't think for themselves.
I think that women, white women in particular, want to protect this patriarchy here because it's to their benefit. Yeah. They want to make sure that their husbands do well. They want to make sure that their sons do well. They want to make sure that their children do well. And they want to make sure that they do well. Most of the women in some of these studies are married white women, and they do fall in line with what...
Greg clearly saw an opening. He barely had to exert effort. Watching Sunny analyze current events felt like seeing complex ideas filtered through deeply personal interpretation. Each claim seemed shaped by selective emphasis rather than full context. Greg, embodying his trademark ironic calm, simply raised an eyebrow and let inconsistencies reveal themselves.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from Europe. Here's how she took the news. Roll it.
Wow.
Bill Maher didn't just challenge her. He methodically broke down her claims. When she suggested that nuanced discussions can be a form of privilege, the comparison felt strained. Even Greg appeared momentarily stunned, as if trying to reconcile bold statements with practical reasoning. Sunny often speaks as though applause is the natural outcome. Meanwhile, her confidence carried the weight of the conversation all by itself. She could start with a simple greeting and pivot into a sweeping societal critique.
Here's a treat for you. The insufferable Sunny Hostin getting a beatdown from Bill Maher on Gaza.
We're all concerned about the innocent civilians that have been collectively punished and murdered, largely children and women. And are you at all concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous, but it's a war.
Why?
Because it's a war, and they were attacked, and they're defending themselves. Now, this is a war. Do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? This is the question.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how
Okay,
can we
well,
get with a ceasefire?
All right, so Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on.
What made it more striking was Sunny's clear belief that she represented the balanced perspective. Greg and Bill responded by calmly pointing out contradictions, almost like a game of intellectual chess. Maher, ever the philosophical skeptic, pressed her on the idea that only personal trauma grants understanding of broader issues. He countered that perspective doesn't require lived hardship alone. Sunny places great emphasis on personal narrative, unless that narrative clashes with her own. Her reasoning can shift quickly, leaving Greg's sarcasm to do much of the heavy lifting.
Bill Maher did get to go on The View, and he said some things that offended the small minds over there. So he had a bit of a debate with the intellectual titan, Sunny Hostin. She was upset with him for using the word woke, and Bill Maher took
the toughest moment? She didn't seem to realize how much pushback she was receiving. It was like watching someone insist a closed door is open. She delivered arguments with unwavering certainty, only to see them questioned point by point. Maher's final challenge cut deepest. How can someone champion open dialogue while dismissing opposing views? Her pause said more than words. Sunny's credentials suggest depth, yet she often leans more on identity than analysis. Debates transform into lectures, disagreements into indignation. Greg and Maher didn't appear coordinated, just aligned in their skepticism. Watching them dismantle her platform felt like rare bipartisan exasperation. In a noisy world, speaking confidently isn't the same as speaking clearly.
I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly, it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach.
It's not just her arguments, it's her delivery. Her tone carries an unmistakable certainty, as if each word passed through layers of approval. Disagreement feels, at times, like an affront. Greg doesn't dissect every sentence. He simply nudges at the logic and lets it unravel naturally. Bill, playing the weary realist, challenges not from spite but from principle. While Sunny frames herself as a moral guide, every debate risks becoming a lecture. She doesn't merely question opposing ideas. She often dismisses them outright, guarding correctness like a gatekeeper of acceptable thought.
All of them, actually, that montage we showed, their absurdity strengthens the Republicans at this point. Because Republicans are like, oh yeah, you've been saying that about us. And I think ever since I got into politics since 1995, as I recall, Democrats have been saying this about Republican women. So they just never change. It's not, talk about not fresh. They got nothing else. And so they don't want to defend their policies. So what they try to do is to make the other team more.
She calls for empathy yet can appear reluctant to extend it. She asks for understanding but rarely reciprocates. Her tolerance seems directional. Beneath her arguments lies a hum of inconsistency. Greg could have fielded questions from the audience. Her points often invited immediate rebuttal. When she spoke of systemic injustice, Greg casually questioned how that aligned with her own privileged platform. Maher and Gutfeld didn't aim to embarrass her. They aimed to stabilize a discussion that felt unbalanced. Still, Sunny stood firm, waiting for affirmation that never quite arrived. Volume isn't insight, and conviction isn't proof.
Willingness to say to Sunny Hostin that you can call it whatever you want, but we're talking about the radical left. It is amazing how they then just attempt to redirect.
Probably virtue signals on the toilet. But that's not the point here. While everybody else was trying to figure out how to survive as the government told us that breathing in public could kill us, Sunny was lolling around in her big house clicking on pictures of arugula while mixing Cocoa Puffs.
Sunny walked away believing she had carried the day, as if she just shifted the national conversation with a single phrase. Greg smirked, and Bill likely reflected with quiet amusement. It wasn't a traditional debate, it felt more like political theater. Sunny delivered statements with judicial gravity while Greg held up a mirror, letting the reflection speak for itself. Maher tugged gently at weak threads until the structure gave way. She presents as though starring in a one-woman showcase of conviction, equating applause with validation. Yet the scoreboard had long gone dark, and she was still performing as if the crowd were roaring. And this brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.